always jobs. There's always jobs. Hi guys, welcome to my first drive video in my RS Turbo. Obviously not my first drive because I've had it for over 10 years, but let's see if it starts. My first drive this year because it has been sawn and locked up for well over a year now. Right, let's try and get it out of the drive without ripping the exhaust off. So I say this is my first drive in the Escort. Actually, there's a story behind it. Basically, I got it out of the storage unit, brought it home, and just before I brought it home, it ran out of fuel. Not ideal, I know. So, thankfully I was with a friend of mine and another guy who works on the corner, so I give him a shout, come round, quickly put a jerry can of fuel in it, managed to get it going, got it in the drive, parked it up, left it there. So the reason it ran out of fuel is because it was parked in storage for ages, and I used to go every now and again and start it up, let it warm through, and my road just had it, and just make sure everything was alright. So got it back, and then the problem started. So the fuel that my mate bought me was just standard unleaded 95. This obviously has been tuned, and of course I've tuned it to run on 99, so me thinking it won't be a massive issue ended up being much bigger than I thought. So I've put some 99 in it and it's running. The problem was it just won't, because it was set up on 99, it just won't run right, so it wouldn't boost up, wouldn't run properly, wouldn't idle properly, it was just not ideal. So hopefully it is just the fuel. I have stuck some 99 in it, so hopefully it's fixed it. We'll let her warm up because oil pressure is still high. It's roasting today. Roasting for winter. Another downside of an old car is you generally have to have the heater on all the time. So maybe wearing a jumper was not the best idea. But hey, here we go. So the reason I always put on my Instagram that this is my first and favourite RS is, well, it's kind of simple. It's the first RS I bought, and I've had this, I've had this probably 13 years now, and I bought this off a good friend of mine, Greg, and before him he bought it off another pal of mine, Jamie. So I've known this car for donkey's years. Both of them looked So done that, had it tuned again. So how did I get it done then? What was Talk of the Devil years ago, and then I had it running. It was about 200 brake, 210 foot-pounds of torque, and it held that nicely at about 18 pound pressure. And it's been good. To be fair, all I've done since then is just sort of whether I've really used it or not, serviced it every year. The usual bits and bobs really. It has picked up a couple of gremlins over the recent times. Gearbox mounts had to be done last time it was out, and I don't know if since then, since they were changed, I've actually got no speedo. So I don't know if the cable was not sat back in the gearbox correctly, or if it's just defective, or it could be a dash issue. I don't know. That's something I need to look into a bit more and work that out. Apart from that, it's been, touch wood, fairly bulletproof. Jamie or Greg? I'm trying to think now. One of them done some like sensible mods as well. Oil pressure gauge and boost gauge in the car. I did have a friend of mine, Martin. We was going to Ford Fair at Silverstone, boosting up, tearing all the way there, having an absolute riot, and then just puffs a back smoke out the back, and then pulls over at the side of the road. Oil pump went, no idea. Obviously starved the engine, dead, blew the lump up. So having an oil pressure gauge is a massive help when it comes to things, to looking out for things like that. Now she's fully warm, and with a bit of good fuel in her. Yes! Get loads of looks as you drive past, people disgusted. Brilliant. want a Ford RS for comfort or easiness to put around town in, or just reliability, any of those factors really, you're probably not best to buy an RS Turbo. Probably stick with a Focus RS, but for just something to put a smile on your face, I don't think there's anything better. Series 1s, it's probably Series 1s now, they're just so much money that you're almost like when I'm a cosy, you're scared to take it out for a hammering in case you break it or the parts are hard to get. With these, I still feel I can take this out and just really enjoy it. seems to be well for a car that's literally sat for a year, and before that was probably out for 100 miles. So I'm impressed. She fights on. Another nice thing about driving it this time of the year, this weather, is that where I've slapped this massive GRS intercooler across the front and only kept it with one fan on the radiator, it does suffer with getting very hot very quickly. Sitting in traffic, doesn't like it, straight up on the sort of end to the top near. And if you've got to sit and the sun's on it for a while, she's getting pretty close to overheating. But when it's running and the air's flowing through it, it's just absolutely perfect. I do need to probably run twin fans, maybe put them on switch control as well, because even with a lower thermostat sensor in there, 82 degree stat in there, 88 degree behind it, it's still not really enough. So hey, that's another thing maybe something this year that we'll do. So I could imagine myself going Silverstone or Santa Pod or something like that, getting stuck in traffic trying to get in, and possibly that'll be the end of my day, getting stuck there.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Let's have a look. Can't see anything. That doesn't actually tell me. No idea. Hey ho. Maybe having a Focus is a better idea. Maybe putting it back in storage for another year is a good shout. Come back to this. Handy when your mechanic lives down the road, isn't it? So a little bit of clickbait, I suppose. It didn't fully break down, but it's still not ideal. It's home, it's parked up. We've just had a look at it. It seems like it's taking air in under idle somewhere, so it looks like it's going to be an afternoon on the forums, reading, and then trying to see if I can get parts of this thing. And then hopefully we'll get it fixed. So, hey ho, good first drive. So, thanks for watching, guys. It wasn't the most ideal first drive, but hey, I won't give up. I've had it years, so we will continue. And I'll let you know when it's back out and up and running.